This is a scrapbook that I'm doing on all the cases and that are happening.
This is Suzette Jordan's catalogue of horror, a record of sexual violence against women in India over the past 2 years.
Women fights of molester. It's really, really horrible. It's like in my head I have so many women up there screaming. I'm now going to fight for all of them in my own way, through my own experience.
The experience Suzette refers to is the night her life changed 2 years ago. It was February 2012. Suzette was drinking with friends at a nightclub in Kolkata's Park Hotel, where she met a friendly stranger.
He had been, smiling and hand gestures, and I, of course, also smiled and waved back, and, I didn't think there was anything wrong to that.
She realised there was something wrong soon after accepting a lift from the man when he let 4 of his friends into the car.
When the car started to move towards the exit, the person on my left grabbed me by my breast, and I screamed, and then I yelled at him, and then I turned to the guy on the right who had befriended me, and I said I'd like to get off here, and I tried opening the door to get off, but it was locked, and I tried to get out, and there was no possible way of that, and that was when I knew that I was in big trouble. I can't even explain the kind of trauma and horror that transpired that night.
She was beaten and raped by the men in the car. But what happened to Suzette Jordan after the rape, when she sought help from the authorities, was also horrific.
A shocker from Kolkata. A mother of 2 was allegedly raped at gunpoint in a moving car earlier this month, but that's not really where the shocker ends.
What's worse, the policemen mocked the victim, taking no action even as the culprits roam free.
They humiliated me. They made me feel it was my fault. They talked about me, being at the nightclub. They constantly asked me if I was sure I was raped. Every officer...
What do you mean they talked about you being at the nightclub?
The way they questioned me, oh, you were at the nightclub, drinking. Beer your favorite drink?
The implication was that a woman who's gone to a nightclub and drunk alcohol really can't be complaining.
She can't be complaining
when
about...
she gets gang raped.
Yeah, especially if I was a 37-year-old woman who had 2 daughters, and, I shouldn't be complaining if I got raped. That was the feeling I got.
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee says the claim of the Anglo-Indian woman that she was raped in a car in a posh locality in Kolkata is contrived and intended to malign her government.
Under fire for her government's handling of the case, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said Suzette's rape story was part of a campaign by her political enemies.
And that for me was very scary, not only for me, for my daughters, because they have to go to school, they had to come back. And when she made that comment, that night there was a mob of people outside my gate.
They knew who you were?
Yeah, they knew who I was, because the police were coming in and out, so everybody in that area knew. So there was a mob outside.
What are they there for?
They wanted to break my gates down. They were baying for my blood. I'm the one who's been raped. I'm the one who's victimized, and I'm still being victimized by everybody.
The West Bengal government has a lot to answer for. The victim of a brutal rape was first mocked by the police. The Chief Minister even rubbishing her complaints as a conspiracy to malign her government. Now it turns out the victim was telling the truth.
For Suzette, it was vindication. Police identified her attackers using CCTV footage from the nightclub. 3 men were arrested.
We're waiting for your calls, and the question we are asking, I'll just repeat that once again. Should Mamta apologize to the rape victim for insensitive remarks?
My question is that do you think how these recent women cases are being, crime cases are being dealt with, is it dealt in a right way?
There's another question on the same topic from Tanya.
At a televised public forum with university students, the notoriously prickly Chief Minister faced tough questions about the handling of rape cases.
They are asking the Maoist question and the CPM question. They are the CPM cadres. I am not going to give any reply.
Growing increasingly angry, she accused the programme of stacking the audience with her political opponents.
No, I'm sorry.
And stormed out of the studio.
No.
The attacks on Suzette escalated, with an MP from the Chief Minister's party accusing her of being a prostitute.
If you are referring to the Pakistani case, see, that is a different case altogether. That was not at all a rape case. It was a misunderstanding between two parties involved in a professional dealing, a lady and her client.
Why did a cabinet minister and an MP in Delhi attack Suzette Jordan's character, suggesting she shouldn't have been out at a nightclub late at night, and even alleging that she was a prostitute? This is after the alleged rapist had been arrested.
No, I don't think anyone has said about someone is a prostitute. I do not know. But, you know, Indian society has its own heritage and tradition. It might be that looking into that aspect, one might have said that one should not be, a lady should not have gone out at that hour of night.
Now, there's been complete politicization of the death of a gang rape victim in Kolkata. A 16-year-old was
in West Bengal, each new rape case has taken on a political dimension. The funeral of this 16-year-old girl sent the media into a frenzy of outrage.
It's not just the sustained horror that the victim and her family went through, but also the alleged insensitivity of the police that has sent shockwaves across the city.
ये जो बलात्कार हुआ, ये आज 3-4 महीना से हम जूझ रहे हैं. मेरे पास कोई सरकार का एक काउंसिलर भी पूछने नहीं आया. अभी तक हमारी लड़की डेट कर गई है कि यहाँ की जो सीएम साहिबा है वो अपने आंसू भी नहीं बहाए, दुख भी व्यक्त नहीं किए. तो बलात्कारी का तो मनसा ऑटोमेटिक बढ़ेगा ना.
Just 3 weeks after her death, Ramashankar and Anita Jha are grieving the loss of their daughter, Sapna.
दिखने में बहुत सुंदर थी, पढ़ने में भी अच्छी थी, खाना उना भी बनाने जानती थी. हम लोग कहीं भी से आते थे, हम लोग क्या कोई भी अगर आता था तो उसको चाय के लिए वो सबसे पहले रिस्पेक्ट करती थी.
Their story starts one night in October last year, when Sapna went missing. When she returned the following morning, she said she'd been brought here, not far from her home on the outskirts of Kolkata, and raped by 6 young men.
देखिए, उसको तो पूरा शरीर में मारपीट का दाग लगा हुआ था. वो लोग जान से भी मारने का, क्योंकि उसका नली उली में पूरा छापा हुआ था. पूरा शरीर का अवस्था पूरा कादा उदा लगा हुआ था. क्रोध आया, गुस्सा आया, बहुत तकलीफ लगा. जब क्या हो गया, भगवान मेरा इज्जत लूट गया. हाँ, अब किसको मुंह दिखाने लायक हैं. अब ये बच्ची का जिंदगी खत्म हो गया.
The next day, the family reported the rape at the Madhyamgram police station. How did the police treat your family when you came to them with this complaint of rape?
चाहिए उसको ट्रीटमेंट कराना, मेडिकल कराना, तो वो सब तो कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. वो तो बैठा के रखा है. जो केस को किसी तरह छुपाया जाए, जब पूरा मीडिया में या पूरा आदमी के पास जानकारी नहीं हो, तो हम कैसे पुलिस का भूमिका अच्छा कहेंगे.
Ramashankar and Anita claim that on their way home from the police station, one of their daughter's attackers abducted her from the back of a cycle rickshaw and raped her again.
वो तो मन हो रहा था, जब हम जी के क्या करेंगे. एक बार हुआ, फिर दोबारा हुआ. मेरा लड़की मरेगा कि जिएगा, लौट के आएगा कि नहीं आएगा.
Sapna was found by the railway police at Madhyamgram station later that night and brought home. Reporters interviewed her the next day, but curiously, she didn't mention a second rape.
पुलिस ने उसमें बलात्कार का मुकदमा दर्ज नहीं किया, सीधे दफा लगा दिया, बोला हम लोग पूरा कानून कार्रवाई करेंगे, उसको नहीं छोड़ेंगे। मैंने हमको भरोसा दिया और वैसा भरोसा के मुताबिक उन्होंने काम नहीं किया।
Aloka Talulukda is the mother of the man who's accused of instigating the gang rape and then abducting and raping Sapna for a second time. She says she's convinced of his innocence.
কোনো প্রশ্নই নেই, কোনো রকম কোনো প্রশ্ন নেই, কোনো আত্মীয় স্বজন বাড়িতে যায় না, কোনো মেয়েদের দেখে কোনো টোন মারেনি, কোনো বউকে দেখে কোনো ইয়ার্কি করেনি।
Aloka thinks that if something did happen between Sapna and her son, it was consensual, and accuses Sapna's father of extortion.
সেটা হচ্ছে উনি যেদিনকে এই ঘটনাটা ঘটেছে তার পরের দিন উনি রাত্রেবেলা এসে আমার কাছে 2 লাখ টাকা চেয়েছিলেন। ওনারা 3 জন এসেছিলেন, রামাশঙ্করের বউ, রামাশঙ্করের মেয়ে, 3 জনই এসেছিলেন। বলেছিলেন যে আমাকে 2 লাখ টাকা দিয়ে দাও, তাহলে আমি চলে যাব বিহারে, আমি মেয়েকে দেশে নিয়ে চলে যাব।
Ramashankar says the family no longer felt safe in Madhyamgram.
क्यों चलाया? क्योंकि वहाँ पर थिएटिंग मिल रहा था, इलाका खराब था, हमको थिएटिंग मिल रहा था, डर लग रहा था जब अपनी बेटी को बलात्कार किया, दोबारा बलात्कार किया, हम लोग को भी जान से मार देगा, इसलिए डर से हम निकल के एयरपोर्ट में आ गया।
It was here, in this small shack rented by Sapna's family, that the most tragic part of their story unfolded.
23 তারিখ সকালে আমি তখন সকাল থেকে ঘুমোচ্ছিলাম, তো আমি ঘুম থেকে উঠি 9টা সাড়ে 9টার সময় ঘুম থেকে আমি উঠে আমি বারান্দায় এখানে দাঁড়িয়েই আমি তেল মাখছিলাম। তো তেল মাখতে মাখতে সকাল থেকেই একটা কানে আসছিল যে এনার মধ্যে আর যে মেয়েটা মারা গেছে সম্পাজা, তার মার সঙ্গে একটা ঝগড়া চলছে। তো শুরুটা হয় কলপার থেকে শুরু হয়, যেখানে শুরু হতে হতে লাস্ট
মহিলার সাথে ঝগড়া হচ্ছিল। এই মহিলা কিছু কটু কথা বলছিল ওনাকে, তার পূর্ব কথা নিয়ে কিছু তুলেছে। হ্যাঁ, এই জন্য হয়তো মেয়েটির মাইন্ডে কিছু লেগেছে।
তো ঘরে ঢোকার পরে তার 2 থেকে 3 মিনিট পরে মেয়েটার মা আবার এই জায়গাটা গেটের সামনে এসে দাঁড়িয়ে চিৎকার করে বলছে আমার মেয়েকে বাঁচাও, মেয়েটা জ্বলে গেল। তখন আমি আবার তেলের শিশিটা রেখে দৌড় মেরে আমি ওর মার সামনে দিয়েই আমি ঘরে রেখে দরজাটা ধাক্কা দিয়ে ভেঙে দিলাম। তো ভাঙার একটা পাটও খুলে গেছে, তো খুলে দেওয়ার দেখলাম মেয়েটা জ্বলছে।
Sapna suffered burns to 60% of her body and died after spending 9 days in a hospital without a burns unit.
देखिए बात मेरी बेटी से जब लास्ट हुई तो उन्होंने मेरी बेटी यही बताया कि पापा और लोग को छोड़िएगा नहीं, हमको जला के मार डाला, मेरा इज्जत लूट के लिया, हमको जला के मार डाला। ये बात सही में बताया, हाँ, हमको बता के मरिएगा।
Sapna said the same thing to the police.
Till yesterday, the 16-year-old gang rape victim who died of burns was believed to have set herself on fire, but no longer. The police confirms she had said in her dying declaration she was set on fire, in short, murdered.
These are the men Sapna accused of her murder, Ratan Shil and his cousin Minta. Both men were arrested the day after the girl's death and remain behind bars almost 3 months later. This woman is Ratan Shil's wife. He was Sapna's family's landlord. And the man who rescued Sapna from her locked room is Ratan's older brother.
একটাই আমাদের রিকোয়েস্ট যে আমার দাদাকে মানে সত্যি সেদিনকার যে ঘটনা সেটা তুলে ধরুক। মেয়েটা যে মৃত্যুকালীন জবানবন্দি দিয়েছিল যে আমার দাদা এবং পরে আবার প্লাস করেছে মেয়েটাকে, ঠিক আছে, সেটা যে এইরকম মিথ্যা কথাগুলো বলছে
তখন আমার স্বামী 3 নম্বরে এক ভদ্রলোকের বাড়ির গাড়ি চালান। তিনি তখন সকাল 8টার সময় বেরিয়ে যান গাড়ি চালাতে, রাত 9:30টার সময় সে বাড়িতে ফেরে।
আই ফেল্ট হার্ড, মানে যখন আমি দেখলাম যে সেই সোয়েটারটা গায়ে, যেটাও আমাকে ডিউটি দিয়েছে সারাদিন পরে, তো সেই সোয়েটারটা গায়ে যখন আমি টিভিতে দেখলাম আমার খুব মায়া লাগলো।
The man Ratan worked for, a former bank manager who's disabled, is happy to corroborate his alibi.
যে কিরে আমার কাছে পুলিশ আসছে না, আমার কাছে কাজ করলো, সারাদিন থাকলো, তো আমার কাছে এখনো পুলিশ আসেনি।
Sapna's death led to an undignified struggle over her body.
Her father wanted to hold a protest with his daughter's body in Kolkata, which was not allowed by the Kolkata police.
Sapna's father, allied with left-wing trade unionists, wanted to use her funeral to protest against the state government. To stop them, police snatched the body and tried to get it cremated, before the unionists took it back.
The victim's body was taken to the centre of Indian Trade Unions, or CITU, accompanied by trucks full of left-party workers who wanted to carry out a procession with the victim's body.
Public outrage was driven by hysterical and often inaccurate media coverage.
The police inaction is evident as they failed to register a complaint and nab the culprits.
That's not all. The 16-year-old and her family were intimidated, pressured and maligned.
Clearly, the state machinery is now indifferent to this girl's plight.
Police only can do this, is that they have to carry on the investigation properly. They have to see that the accused are arrested. They have to frame the charge sheet, and they have to proceed with the case in a very hasty manner so that the culprit, he is punished, he or she is punished. That is being done by the police. Who says that it has not been done?
The rape of Suzette Jordan was a turning point in West Bengal. The authorities are now quicker to respond to complaints of sexual assault, even if their zeal sometimes results in faulty justice. And at least some of the victims are no longer keeping quiet.
Today, taking to the streets is someone we have known as the Park Street rape survivor. But today she is out, disclosing her identity and not afraid to speak out.
Why should I hide my identity when it was not even my fault?
Suzette Jordan's case is far from over. 2 of her alleged rapists are in hiding in other countries. The trial for the other 3 has now been going on for a year. But Suzette is determined to see it through.
I'm going to get closure. And I'm going to feel that every other girl will have even more guts to come forward. And they'll stop suffering in silence.
If they see you get justice.
Yeah. They know they'll have a chance, you know. No matter what. Even if you have to fight it. You have to fight it, I think.